During a high-profile official visit to China, Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif met with President Xi Jinping to reaffirm the deep strategic trust underlying their all-weather partnership. Commemorating 75 years of diplomatic ties, both leaders vowed to accelerate the next phase of CPEC, securing billions in new infrastructure and investment agreements. Tensions in Eastern Europe have intensified following a stark warning from Moscow, threatening a series of systematic strikes across Kyiv. The Kremlin has explicitly warned foreign diplomats and citizens to evacuate the capital, directly targeting Ukrainian defense industrial infrastructure and command centers in a major bid to project regional strength. Parallel to its partnerships in Asia, the armed forces continue to maintain active, multi-layered military-to-military engagements with the United States. These ongoing defense interactions remain tightly focused on stabilizing regional security frameworks, sustaining counterterrorism cooperation, and enhancing maritime coordination to balance key geopolitical relationships. A major shift in South Asian air power is accelerating as India finalizes its formal request to France for 114 Dassault Rafale fighter aircraft. Estimated at nearly $40 billion, the mega-procurement mandates that approximately 90 of these advanced multi-role jets will be manufactured locally under a massive Make in India defense partnership. A significant shift in strategic missile posture is materializing as mobile rocket forces integrate highly specialized shipping container launch architectures. Designed to disguise long-range ballistic and cruise missile platforms within standard commercial freight configurations, this stealth deployment method dramatically increases target survivability. By operating from ordinary civilian transport trucks and rail networks, the distributed launch hubs become virtually indistinguishable from routine logistics traffic under modern satellite surveillance. This advanced concealment doctrine severely complicates an adversary's counter-battery targeting calculations and preemptive strike plans. Riyadh is drastically rewriting its military playbook, becoming the first nation to successfully integrate advanced European IRIS-T air-to-air missiles onto its American-built F-15 fighter fleet. The complex technical integration underscores a bold transition toward aggressive strategic autonomy, breaking the rigid dependence on single-source Western defense providers. By successfully blending European ordnance with a premier United States aviation platform, the Royal Saudi Air Force effectively neutralizes the ability of any foreign capital to exercise veto power over its national security operations. As the kingdom rapidly expands local manufacturing capacities under its national defense groups, this modular approach to weapons procurement establishes a highly independent security framework. Speaking at the high-level conference in Dushanbe, leadership issued a sharp warning against the strategic weaponization of shared river systems. The address explicitly condemned unilateral moves to alter regional river flows, labeling water manipulation a direct threat to the agricultural and economic security of millions. Islamabad declared that artificial water restrictions cross a critical red line, calling on global observers to protect vital cross-border water agreements from geopolitical interference. Disaster management strategies are expanding into the South Pacific as emergency response planners conclude a pioneering, multi-day humanitarian assistance and disaster relief tabletop exercise. Specifically tailored to simulate the devastating fallout of Category 5 tropical cyclones, the collaborative simulation focused on streamlining multi-agency coordination, establishing urgent search and rescue protocols, and optimizing international supply corridors during climate emergencies. The Defense Ministry has formally rejected a push by U.S. President Donald Trump to join the Abraham Accords as part of broader regional negotiations. Defense Minister Khawaja Asif firmly stated that Islamabad will not enter into any agreement that requires normalizing relations with Israel, dismissing any framework that compromises the nation's fundamental ideologies. This decisive stance underscores a refusal to tie regional security mediation to a shift in its foundational foreign policy. New Delhi and Seoul have significantly deepened their strategic alignment by signing a pivotal agreement focused on defense cybersecurity and real-time information sharing. Finalized in Seoul during a high-profile diplomatic visit by Defense Minister Rajnath Singh, the bilateral pact targets modern electronic warfare, critical military infrastructure protection, and sophisticated digital threats. This milestone agreement reflects a growing convergence between India's Act East policy and South Korea's regional strategic vision. By establishing joint frameworks for advanced technology co-development, artificial intelligence integration, and maritime coordination, the Organization of Islamic Cooperation has issued a unanimous, forceful condemnation following the recent wave of devastating terrorist attacks targeting southwestern Balochistan. The OIC General Secretariat reiterated its principled rejection of terrorism in all its forms and manifestations, expressing absolute solidarity with the state's security apparatus. The bloc-wide declaration firmly backed ongoing efforts to maintain security, territorial integrity, and civil stability across the mineral-rich province. Extending deep condolences to the families of the victims, the multi-nation body emphasized that the deliberate targeting of regional stability demands an unyielding global response. The bilateral security architecture along NATO's eastern flank is undergoing its most significant transformation in a generation. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer and his Polish counterpart Donald Tusk are finalizing a sweeping defense and security treaty in London, specifically tailored to counter escalating Russian grey zone warfare and espionage. Following recent high-profile, state-sponsored cyber disruptions and arson operations across Western Europe, the landmark Pact transitions the alliance into a deep technological partnership. The agreement establishes joint frameworks for large-scale electronic and counter-drone warfare maneuvers, alongside the co-production of a next-generation medium-range air defense missile system. A massive shift in Indo-Pacific naval geometry is underway as Seoul officially greenlights a national roadmap to develop and construct its first fleet of indigenous nuclear-powered submarines. Designated the Jangbogo-N project, the program aims to deploy an 8,000-ton class of domestic attack submarines, fueled by low-enriched uranium. Following recent high-profile, state-sponsored cyber disruptions and arson operations across Western Europe, the landmark Pact transitions the alliance into a deep technological partnership. The agreement establishes joint frameworks for large-scale electronic and counter-drone warfare maneuvers, alongside the co-production of a next-generation medium-range air defense missile system. That's enough for today. Share your thoughts in comments section, and please answer today's question.